opportunity to meet with her, but I also hope that we will have possibility to host Kosana at the law faculty as well. Kosana, thank you so much for being with us on such a short notice, and for being, and I know that you have a very tight schedule, but at the same time, you're always open to work with us, and thank you so much. We very much appreciate your cooperation.
Thank you, Ivana. Such nice words for me. Hello, everybody. And I'm also happy that I had enough time to join you today. And for sure, if there is any chance, I will come to see you in person, because I think that we are all a little bit tired of this WebEx, Zooms and everything, but it was not possible for me, although I'm like 20 kilometers from Belgrade, but I couldn't manage this time. And I'm happy that you're interested in not only Feminist Judgment Project, but also because probably all of you are lawyers, yeah?
No, they are not.
Oh, okay. Okay, because like Feminist Judgment Project is, and judgment, like feminist justice is a really interesting concept. And I think that that's very much needed in every single jurisdiction. And not only about like femicides, but also in like a lot of legal fields, where in some legal fields where you even don't expect it. So because let's say usual suspects are like violence against women, then different types of divorces and custody cases and so on. But there are also some interesting things that need like this feminist lens, or at least gender lens. But once you realize like a measure of injustice that has been done to different women around the globe, then I think that you then only can take this, accept this feminist approach. And what we are doing in this project, and what is really important, is that we are trying to find some judgments. Some are really extreme. I think that this judgment that I choose to rewrite is kind of extreme, because it's completely out of usual practice, court practice, that has been developed by our courts, like for ages, let's say. But before that, I would love to hear you, if it's possible, because today's topic is femicide. So just tell me, like, on one or two sentences, how would you define femicide? Just one sentence or two, if anyone's want to do that.
I'm not sure if it's my internet or what, but I didn't hear actually the question. It was buffering.
You didn't hear? Okay. So I ask actually you to if anyone would ask you what is femicide, what would you say? So I
would say that it's a murder of a woman, which is conducted by a man, and usually it's a relative or someone from the family, someone who is close to the woman. And for the reasons, it can be just hatred towards women, or maybe a revenge or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I can just add that from what I have read and researched, it's killing women because they are women, but maybe in more intersectional way, killing anybody because of their gender roles in the society.
Nice to see you here.
You too.
Irina?
I would agree with the previous speakers. I would say it's gender-targeted murder.
So, what is, let's say, interesting about femicide is that there are very few jurisdictions that have femicide as a separate criminal act in their legislation. So usually, so for example, Serbian system is one of those systems, and there in Latin America, for example, there are a lot of countries that recognize femicide. In really different definitions are present. So, and then when you want to report on that, that a huge social phenomena in I think all countries of the world, then when they try to at the UN level, when they try to collect data about femicides, so countries like, let's say, Serbia, but some other countries also, they would answer, we don't have that criminal act, so we don't have any kind of statistics. So at the moment, we still don't have the national definition of femicide, but there is something, and then you have so many different definitions used in different criminal laws across the globe. And actually, what is for me very important is that UN Women, together with UNODC, this UN, UN Women is a UN entity for empowerment of women, and UNODC is this UN office for crimes and drugs and so on. So they together they realize that we are not going to have any reliable data on femicide because there are no femicides in many jurisdictions. And what they actually do, they created something that is called a statistical framework for measuring gender-related challenges of women's rights. And that happened a few years ago, and I think that's really great because we can now, with their guidelines, we can ask from our states to count those types of murders. And three of you were very close to the definition that UN agencies developed. So it's about they actually said because usually, okay, just one more point, because usually it is stated that that's gender motivated or gender based killing, and then when we talk with the judges and prosecutors, they and we mention very often that a motive for those murders and so on. Then they would say that the motive is, for example, in systems like our system, we don't need to judges or prosecutors, they don't need to establish motive. So if there is, if that's so, they just don't want to deal with motives because they need a lot of more effort to put on specific cases. And then in this statistical framework, it's explained. It's really great explained about motives. So about gender-based motives. Even did you raise your hand?
Yes, I didn't want to interrupt you, but somehow we have a very weak connection because we can't hear you clearly. I don't know if anyone else also have this problem. Yeah, we are not.
Yes.
So maybe I can suggest maybe that you maybe connect once again. What do you think? Or just to check your Wi-Fi, because what you are talking, it's so important, but we're really struggling to hear your voice.
Because I can hear you very well.
You can hear us very well, yeah.
Yes. Okay. No, I will try to connect once again, and if not, I will try to turn off my camera because camera usually.
Yeah, maybe in that case, we can all turn off our cameras if it would be easier. But let's try once again. Try once again to connect and maybe we'll satellite. Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that, but I really hope that we can hear her clearly. So while we are waiting for Kosana, next week I will announce when we will have the meeting with the lady from the Register of the European Court of Human Rights. And don't forget, on Friday we have class, but you have to bring your computers, and we will have in situ class only. So there wouldn't be no online class because we have exercise for the exam. And I hope that Kosana is here. Great. Great. Okay. Great seeing you again.
Yeah, okay. But do you hear me again?
Now we can hear you, yes. So I hope that it is going to be better, yeah.
Okay, so please, if something is wrong again, just interrupt me immediately so I can try with turning camera off and we will see if it will work.
Okay, great, thanks.
So, so I just wanted to say that I don't know what you managed to hear or not, but this statistical framework is really important because now we can ask our statistical offices to collect data from the other institutions, and we have three, due to lack of the internationally recognized definition, we have like 3 blocks of data that we are now collected at the UN level. So the first one, when it comes to femicides, is intimate partner femicide. So that's always femicide. Other one, the gender-related killing of women and girls is conducted by family members. So when I said intimate partner, it means like current or former husbands, partners, cohabitating partners, dating partners, and so on. So it's when we talk about family member, it could be any male family member. So father, son, siblings, uncles, siblings-in-law also. So it's not, and it's not important if if they lived or not in the same house, which is very important for some criminal acts. And then there is like the third option when when perpetrator is someone who is not family member or intimate partner, and they provided like 8 different how I can say like different modus operandi or context that it's indicative of gender relation to that murder. So, and if you are interested in it, it's of course available online, and it's really, really interesting to see how like statistics, how they manage to bridge that huge gap with reporting. And now from year to year, there's more and more countries that they actually manage to collect data in this manner. And we, of course, now we know that before but now we get proof from that level, like UN, universal level, that women and girls are they're most at risk from their partners or family members, and also some other people, but this is like highest risk. And then when I was choosing my judgment, before that we conducted one research in Serbia, and we analyzed case law on femicides. So because we don't have femicides on different murders of women, according to the criteria I mentioned you now. And we realized that there are a lot of judgments, very lenient over perpetrators. We realized that our prosecutors and judges, they don't understand the very nature of femicide, and that they are like prone to find some justification for perpetrators. And that's like overall impression. Of course, there are some differences. There were a few good judgments in the sense that it was classified as aggravated murder, and then of course punishment is higher and so on. But this judgment that I choose to analyze, it's one of the like examples, for textbooks, how gender stereotypes influence judicial reasoning in case of site. And then it's also, so the whole system, is under the influence of gender stereotypes. And then for me, it was really interesting how different legal opinions can be like adjusted to fit into something that you want to classify it as certain criminal acts. So I will tell you briefly what is the background of this case. Can you hear me now? So?
From time to time, so yeah, it's a little bit better,
okay.
But
okay,
yeah.
I will try. Okay, let me try like this.
Okay, yeah, good.
Okay, because it's really, I'm so sorry that it's probably my internet, because if you are all, but I don't get it.
Don't worry. I mean, we will all. I think that maybe we should all close cameras, because it will be easier also for your internet, to to function. Yeah. So we are listening to you, and of course, students will have questions at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Even I'm sorry for this. Yeah. Okay. So I have. So the background of my case is that the victim and the perpetrators, they were like 50 plus persons. They lived in common law union for like 2.5 years together. And one day they were at some family celebration, and they were drinking, both of them. And actually, and that's also important point, because in our society, like men who drink, they're somehow accepted by the society, but that's like no go for women. So they were drinking, both of them. She was dancing with some men, and what happened that that her partner, he felt uncomfortable due to that. He was trying to tell her to, calm down, to stop drinking, to stop dancing with with the other man, and she didn't want. And then he decided that they will go home. So they took. They were arguing there, and then they took a taxi, and then it's also important for you to know that they needed almost an hour of driving to get home, so 50 minutes, let's say. And then when they come home, they were silent, so they were not talking with each other in the cab. We know that because taxi driver was one of the witnesses. And then after that, they when they come home, they continue their argument, and then he started to hit her, and then he I think it was like 16 blows to the head and her body, and then he passed away. So she died on the spot due to very harsh and severe beatings. And then this judgment, because we so I just we have in Serbia, in our system, we have like in our criminal law, we have murder, like regular, let's say, murder. Then we have different types of aggravated murder. And then we also have something, it's called murder in the heat of passion. Probably you all have in your jurisdiction something like that. And then in this case, I will now try to tell you how this we had two. So we had first instance decision, then appellate court sent it back to the first degree court, and we had second first instance decision, and then finally we had second appellate court and final decision. So in his first trial, he was it was classified as like regular murder, and he was sentenced to 12 years, which is kind. So it's really like 12 years. I don't know. We will discuss a little in a few minutes, but it's not like serious. But it's kind of in line with practice when this regular murder is before the court. Then we had appeal, and then this. So it was this judgment was overturned, and then. The second judgment was 6 years in prison. Okay, and it was reclassified as a murder in the heat of passion or manslaughter in the heat of passion. Depends. I'm not sure which one is in for the people who are not from Serbia. I don't know the name in your jurisdiction. So. What actually court said? Like, can you imagine? Like, 7 years of prison. So it was. So the court stated that that is. I will just. I have to read this part. So the judgment states as an indisputable fact that our perpetrator at the celebration, through victim's action and behavior, and then in brackets, she came on to other men, hugged them, grabbed their genitals. That's what he said during the trial. Pulled them by the hand to dance with her. So her behavior caused the defendant to have a subjective feeling of humiliation, an affective state of anger and rage, in which state he remained even after they left the celebration, so also when they returned home, where the defendant took the life of the victim. So this is the explanation, because in Serbia, if in our criminal law, this murder in the heat of passion is only, so it can be like classified like that criminal act only if the murder or happens at the moment. So if you do if a person does something that to you that you cannot control your actions and your behavior, but even if you have like 5 minutes to cool your head, go to the toilet and back, then no, you cannot classify this act as conducted in a heat of passion. And here, like, they had 50 minutes of cooling heads, not talking to each other, driving by a taxi, and then our court actually tried to justify, because it cannot be justified because we have established practice on that criminal act. But then this judge stated that so his anger and his rage, what was of such intensity that like even an hour later, it was he killed her, he beat her to death, and that's like for 7 years in prison. And it's, for me, that's like capitulation of our legal system. And it's not the only judgment that we have like that, but this one was it's completely full of different gender stereotypes by judge, and stated by a judge in explanation of the judgment. And that's something that, and even so, and then also one more sentence from the judgment is that so the judge said, namely, it is the logic of life that someone whose wife or common law partner behaves like the victim behaved on that occasion would himself feel humiliated and ashamed, and precisely because of his subjective feeling of humiliation and discomfort, would have the impression and the feeling, although it may not actually be so, that everyone was looking only at him and making fun of him. So it's kind of but really, I think it's kind of capitulation of legal system, because one judge showed us like how many genders, and of course, my this text is like 30 pages long, the text of the judgment, and also my text, but I try to, so you can ask me if anything is unclear, but I think that I actually managed to just to introduce you with this case, and we can talk a little bit about that. So you can comment on it or ask any questions, because I don't want you to I don't want just to read to you different parts, but I think that you can have like idea of the content of that judgment, right or not? So, do you hear me at all?
Yes, we can hear, and we can hear you much better than.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't worry.
Okay, so now I just realized that. So if you didn't hear me, so okay, so
No, we understand. I mean, we could hear you. So, is anyone else who would like to respond?
Yes, because I think it's better to discuss a little bit. I can, of course, read it to you, but I don't think that's like the main point. Did you understand what actually happened there?
Anyone?
Anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, do you have any, comments, questions? Are you surprised with that punishment, like 7 years of imprisonment for like killing of a common law partner with 16 blows to the head and her body, an hour after argument?
If I may, it's Irina.
Please.
Unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but I'm coming from Russia, where a couple of years ago they decriminalized home-based violence. So, like, police even cannot enter when the killing is happening between a couple. Mostly, by statistics, it would be a man killing a woman, and unfortunately, it's also culture-based thing, victim blaming thing. Like, she shouldn't be drinking, she shouldn't be wearing these clothes, and so on and so forth. And men, in this case, using this as a pretext why this happened, and also trying to use the state of affect. This is how it's called in Russia, state of affect, when it's emotions raising, and they couldn't control themselves. And unfortunately, I would say that probably in Russia it would be even less than this judgment.
7 years.
Yeah.
Just
I mean now in current environment. Previously, yeah.
Yeah. So just can you just explain to us in a few sentences, how do you mean they decriminalize?
Yeah,
you're talking about domestic violence.
Yeah, I'm talking about domestic violence. It's decriminalized now. So if a wife comes to, let's say now we're talking about gender, so it would be more often women coming to the police saying like, this is photo, this is me with bruises. I suffered from my husband and so on. It would be just a fee penalty, like maybe 1,000 rubles, 5,000 rubles, something like that. It's like $50. But nothing else. And you should prove that it exactly happened because he was violent and you didn't provoke him. This is one thing. And also, if even neighbors, like living, let's say, in an apartment, and neighbors would be saying that we hear some noise and we're worried that something is happening, police has no right now to interfere. They can only knock on the door and ask if it's all okay. And if there would be, we are okay. And we know that the victim is threatened right now and they cannot. And now it's more and more often in this that we see the cases when after hours of this violence, mostly wives or female partners, they are dead after this beating. And it's very then, like their judgments after this is about 5 years or something like that. So it's this is how it led to killings more often, and this only happened, like, it's rolled out in the couple of years because the decriminalization happened in, if I'm not mistaken, I need to check it, not to lie to you, but I think it was 2022 when the decriminalization happened. Like absolutely, it went through our parliament through all readings, but I need to check. So, unfortunately, this thing today is happening right now. And victim blaming, like women are always victims of that. And they are blamed for being killed, for being beaten, because they provoked them.
So, Irina, I'm really, really sorry to hear that, but that's what's going on with women's rights around the globe at the moment. of course, that's not an excuse for that, but it's just explanation of. There are also some countries where domestic violence has never been criminalized at all, but it's. I think it's really hard when once you have this criminalization, of course, and then you could advocate for the improvement, but now you're like 3 steps back. So it's really what's going on to women like around the world. It's really horrible. So anyone else? So you can yeah, Yelena, please.
Yeah, I have actually 2 questions. The first one is related to the case that you were talking about. I'm just curious, the judge was male, right?
No.
No.
I hope that you would, some of you would ask. No.
Wow. Okay.
So it was, yeah. So it was she. Actually, she, which is also okay. So let us hear your second question, and then we can discuss. Then we can discuss this
I can
issue.
ask you my second question later because it's not related to this judgment that you talking about. It's related to femicide in general.
Okay, so
can I just add, sorry, Sana, on the Yelena's question, just my observation of the thing. I wasn't surprised that a judge is female, because usually in our justice system, judges are female, are women. Yes. And we have a lot of these judgments where we can see how they interpret domestic violence and how they see the victim and how they see the perpetrator. Yes. Perpetrator. So it's not a coincidence that we have here women that that explained her judgment like she explained it, but this is very common, and this is the case most of the times, actually.
Yeah. Yes, Una, thank you. Yes, we have more than 75% of women judges. In civil cases, even more, like more than 90, which is also which is not good, for the judiciary, but that is how it is. Yeah, and I can understand why Una was not surprised, because so we at least people that I had have chance to meet, to be I don't know, to lecture, to go chat in the coffee shop and things like that. So people around me, privately and professionally, very often are very surprised, because we have expectations. We think that if the judge is a woman, that she will understand dynamics, gender stereotypes, and so on. But actually, we're all, brought and raised in the same patriarchal society. And we need a lot of a lot of women think in that way, because you were told by your mother or your neighbor or your grandmother that you should not behave like that. Don't drink, don't wear this. And that's so, it's so deeply, entrenched within the judiciary, within all systems, including judiciary, that we really need to work a lot on it. And I don't know, maybe we have a chance with younger generations. I'm not sure. But with the people who are, at the mid-level of their careers, or even close to retirement, I think that if they understand it, they understand it. But if not, that's it. Like we had a lot of trainings for them, and even, can you imagine that once that judge, she came to our training. And I very often use this judgment, and then I was I'm thankful because it would not be nice to have her in as someone who participates in the training, and then she would know that that's her judgment, but then we choose the one very similar to that one. It was like 6.5 years, even in that in terms of sentencing, even more lenient, but it was not so full of gender stereotypes as that one. And that judge, she approached me during the coffee break, and she said that oh, she really enjoys this, and but she was acting as if she knows everything, but now it's just great to be in the company of someone who thinks similar. So it was for trainers. It was like, oh, okay, we're not mentioning that usually we use some other examples, but at least she had chance to hear different argumentation and different lens to offer her a different lens on some possible judgments in the future. So Yelena, you can ask the other question, because I think this one is fully. Or if someone else wants to comment on this, women judge, you're welcome. And if not, Yelena can ask the other question. Okay, Yelena.
Okay. Well, the other question is not related to the judgment that you were talking about, but it's related to the femicide. I know that we have a statistic here in Serbia for femicide that was done by NGO in Serbia. And I'm just curious, I noticed that in that statistic, the trans girl is not included. I don't know if you remember or if you know that case. It's not. So she's not included in that statistic. And I was just wondering what is like general opinion for including trans women in the statistics for femicide, and do we have maybe some from the international case law? Do we have maybe some judgments relating to that?
I don't know if we have international judgments on because, as I said, like femicide is not. We don't have a lot of countries that. So if we accept Latin American countries, there are few countries in Europe with that. With the femicide, so as a separate criminal act. So I can tell you that we have. Okay, now I will try to be like very, very, very. So we have two different ways of thinking in that sense. So, for example, because we have two NGOs counting femicides, okay, like two main NGOs counting femicides. Of course, we all do that from newspaper because we don't have proper statistics. So, Femplots, when that's organization when in which I'm program director, when we count femicides, we include trans women also, due to it's about gender-related killings. So it's not about some sex, it's not about biology, although, we all know that there, like few, compared to the whole population, there are very few trans persons in general. And I don't know why we have like a worldwide fight over trans persons when it's, it's just a small portion of population. And I don't see why, if someone's, identifies herself as woman, then it's a woman for all of us. That's my opinion. And when trans woman is killed by partner, family member, or the other, so there are also some other situations like that. It's obvious that gender role is behind that. The same as a cis a woman. So it's not about our biology or our chromosomes. And then there is also the other. So I'm talking about Serbia, but you can actually witness those processes like worldwide. And then the other organization and some also other NGOs around that organization, they just don't. They don't recognize trans women as women, and that's it. So it's and my understanding is when I read international documents such as this framework and so on, that trans women are included, but we don't have like anything which would definitely say, okay, so trans women are included. It's about gender. It's about being a woman. So I think it's up to us to have some conclusion. Even in Croatia, they have now femicide. It's not a separate criminal act. It's not called femicide. It's called like aggravated murder of a woman, and it's about women. So now it depends on how a prosecutor and judges would understand woman. Would they include like trans woman in that category? So it's not clear, and it's much bigger than just counting femicides. It's a huge argument within women's rights movement, human rights movement, and trans rights movement. I don't know if I just try to explain. I don't have like definitive answers, but this is what's going on currently.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But it's and it's so for example, we have data in Serbia for, I don't know, let's say in last 10 years we have data from newspaper from 2 sources, and then the other organization, they have for almost 20 years they have data. So, and we had one case of when it was trans woman, and we had like more than 400 of women killed, women and girls. So I really cannot see why would be a problem for us to include trans women in our statistics. But different opinions, different concepts. So let's say it's not just opinion; it's different concept.
I also have a question about counting it's rude. I don't know. It's rude to say just counting the killings.
Yeah, but that's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. And since you're one of the organizations who does that, and the country doesn't do that, I want to know how the counting is happening, because for the femicide you need to know the intent. You have to know the reason of the intent of the killing.
We don't have to know that.
But if the femicide is killing a woman because she's a woman, we have to know why.
No. So there's just some cases in which we have to sit and then try to, research on it. Because when I said in this statistical framework, which is really, for us, it's much appreciated, it stated that if a woman or girl is killed by intimate partner, former, current, and so on, that's femicide. You don't need anything else. You just have to show that that was her husband, boyfriend, current ex, or so on. The same goes for the family members. If you establish this connection that's her, I don't know, father, son, uncle, whoever, from in-laws or her birth family, that's it. That's femicide. And then if it's not a family member and if it's not your partner, then you have to see if that is gender-based. And they offered like 8 different criteria according to which you can establish that. But usually, like in majority of cases, like I think 70+%, she is killed by a partner or a family member. So only for the situations in which it's someone who is not related to her in this way, like family or partnership or marriage or then you have to think of it to know more about that case to see if it's gender related. Because, for example, if someone, which happened also in Serbia, if someone enters the nightclub with a gun, with a rifle gun, and then start shooting, and then he kills 5 men and 3 women, that's not femicide. Like generally, we don't have 3 femicides. But if you can establish some kind of relationship between him or any of those women, or that then you need analysis and more data, and you can I can find this and I can send to Ivana, and then she can send it to you, like more literature on that, and I really recommend reading this explanation from that statistical framework, because I think it's much easier for all of us that we have now UN document that we can rely on.
Yes, and I was specifically asking about this situation when we don't know when the isn't a family member, or we didn't have any reason to believe that it's a former partner, for example, and so on. And of course, in family domestic violence cases, you usually also unfortunately have domestic violence prior, and that was reported to police and so on. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to say yes, it's femicide, but for that specific cases that we can't really make that connection, it's really hard to know from the newspaper, is it or isn't
yes,
it? So
it's really hard. Yes, you're right. Because and then you need to so few times when something like that happened. So for example, we because we have those I don't know if announcement is a good word for that, but we publish that as a news on our social networks. So then we usually we would write, so another woman has been killed in Serbia. We don't know at the moment circumstances and so on, and then we are trying to follow on that up, and then not every single murder of women is femicide. So if we don't have sufficient data, then we don't count that, because we cannot claim, we cannot state that that's femicide if we don't have like more information. but in court they and prosecutions they should have like more information on that. Irina?
I have a question related to maybe hypothetical situation or situation, maybe you saw it somewhere, like a case. What if a victim avoids being killed, but in self-defense, like we consider it self-defense, killed a partner? Can she use a term like she was under femicide threat, right? Kind of to use this in her self-defense. Why I'm asking? Maybe you know about it's very famous in Russia now criminal case. It's Khachaturian sisters who killed their father. It was domestic violence. He was abusing them, raping, and so on and so forth. I don't want to just go into much detail. It's with this harmful content. Last April, it happened 7 years ago. Last April, one of the courts finally said that the father was guilty in pornography and all the other stuff that the girls described. But they are still under persecution and facing probably imprisonment. But just let's imagine the context in another country. Would they be able to use a femicide as a pretext, was a self-defense thing? Or it's premeditated? Like now in Russia, they facing that it was premeditated just because they were three of them. But they were in a very different emotional states, three of them. But I'm not their lawyer, I don't know. But just hypothetically, or maybe you faced some interesting cases like that.
Yes. Yes, I had a chance to see several of those cases. One of our colleagues, she was a professor of law in Nice. She was a researcher together with us, but she unfortunately passed away 2 years ago. She was, for her PhD thesis, she wrote about women who killed their partners. And it was huge, and I think up to date, because that was at the beginning of 80s. And I don't think that we have, in Serbia, that we have another research like that. She was actually writing about, so there are a lot of cases of femicides in which men are, as the one I presented to you, so heat of passion and things like that. But on the other hand, when they kill them, and usually it's self-defense, although it's not, it's not, usually it's not in heat of passion, because they don't have enough strength or things like that to kill him at the moment when violence happened. But then they use different, they're poisoning them or kill them during the while they're sleeping, so on. And usually so the judgments were for this very, very high level of so harsh, like aggravated murders. And then we have so its punishments are much higher than vice versa. But recently in our region, in North Macedonia, 2 years ago, or maybe even 3 years ago, there was one judgment. It was so she killed him. I don't know what actually. I think it was while he was asleep, because and she was a victim of violence for many years, very severe violence. And then there was one judge, woman, in this case also. So we have something positive, and she said it was self-defense, and you're free to go. And it was such a huge reaction in North Macedonia and in the region. And then, of course, they appealed, but also the higher court also confirmed that judgment. And I hope that that's like start of some of more, meaningful reasoning of our courts in the region. So we don't have a similar example here. Like when I say positive, I don't think it's a good thing that you kill someone, but we have in criminal law, we have like self-defense as a legal institute. So self-defense is it's not only, it's time for judges to understand that it's not only like immediate threat, that it's happened at that very second, because their lives are in jeopardy for a long time and almost every day. So I hope that this kind of practice will also be like adopted from this North Macedonian case.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you also.
Thank you, Kosana. I said that we will reserve 45 minutes, but it's already 1 hour. This topic is really extremely interesting, and everything that you said really explains and illustrates very well how also the court practice do not recognize this act in a proper way, and that unfortunately we do not have adequate sanctions in many cases. Mm-hmm. And also the last example that you mentioned is the one that we should more sensitivize judges and prosecutors and police, of course. So it's really good that at least now you have an impression about the topic, but also, as Kosana said, she will share some of the materials with you. And for those of you who speak Serbian, you can also take a look of this extremely important analysis that was conducted by Femplatz. And congratulations, Kosana, you and your team, for illustrating really how the court approaches and how they respond to this criminal act. Maybe just to give a chance for one last question, if anyone has, before we close this session today.
And even if we also have it in English, not the whole research, but like we have it on. I will send you a link, because it's not so common that judgments on femicides were, researched in that manner. So because we collected every single one in 5 years, and also attempted femicides. So then UN Women wanted to have it in English, and then we have now one. It's shorter version, but everything is there for those who doesn't speak Serbian. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, whatever you think would be valuable for students, please send it to me. And as I said, I really hope that we will have another chance to host you at the law faculty. We have in a second semester, we have some other courses, but at the same time, we also have legal clinic. So I think that maybe for legal clinic, we can really dig deeper into this case, or maybe some other cases that you pick, and then we can discuss it further if, of course, you're open for that kind of invitation as well.
Always, always. Thank you so much.
Great. Anyone else? I hope that everything was clear. It's shocking in a way, as everything that we are doing at this subject. But then, Kosana, once again, thank you so much for joining us today for this excellent presentation. You got some hearts from Irina. You also got hearts from my side as well. And thank you really for, I know what kind of agenda you have, especially in this part of the year, for having time to meet with us. And let's keep discussing this important issue further. Thank you once again. Have a great evening, girls, and please see you on Friday, but at the Faculties of Law building. Sorry for those who will not be able to join us in person. Thank you once again, and see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you.